introducing to the stage Eva from Vienna. Have fun.
Kissy kiss. Thank you. First of all, super excited to be here. Second of all, my question to you guys, who looks at the beginning of the year or end of the year towards consumer trends to influence marketing programs for the year? Yoo-hoo! That's a great start, because I actually want to talk to you about the not 10 but actually 6 six consumer travel trends. And I also want not just to talk to you about the trends, but also give you practical examples and also translate what it means for you. So the question is 2023, what will be the consumer preferences and behaviors? And one thing is, it's not the pandemic that is shaping actually the behaviors and the preference, but actually what's happening here is a generational shift, a fundamental generational shift in terms of who is the majority of the travelers traveling. It's the Generation Z and the millennials that are basically taking over. They are having the largest number of trips, they are spending more time on leisure travel, they have longer trips, and also live in multiple cities. There's like a few other stats to give you, like the millennials are spending per year 35 days on holidays, on trips, right? 35 days is more than 1 month on trips, versus baby boomers, for example. Those are the people like 55 years plus. They are spending 25 days. The other thing what you should know is that for Generation Z, so those are the people born around 1990, and the millennials born around 1980, the number one priority to spend money on is travel. So not only do they spend more days on travel, but also it's the number one priority. So even if we are living in a tough year in terms of inflation, etc., it is those generations that will kind of, save the travel year. Then, in terms of the 6 trends that are shaped by those 2 generations, the first 3 are actually an evolution of long-term trends. So wellness tourism, sustainable travel, digital nomads, cultural capitals, film set jetting, and off the grid. Those are your 6 trends, and I will go now one by one into the different trends. Starting off with wellness tourism. Just on wellness tourism, what you should know is that wellness overall in tourism is actually going to double in size. It's going to be a 2 trillion business by 2030. Right now, 900 billion is going to be a 2 trillion business. So there's going to be huge growth for the years to come. I'm going to talk about like 4 focus points, because wellness is a thing that we've been talking about for like 10, 15 years already. But what are like the focus points for 2023? So one thing is about wellness to recover. And mental health is a huge topic. It's the huge topic to basically heal from stress, anxiety, do digital detox. And there are different type of, mindfulness activities to kind of disconnect, to reconnect with yourself. Like, for example, yoga, but yoga goes into like natural yoga retreats. There is now also yoga combined with activities like yoga and hiking and yoga and kayaking, and so yoga and sailing in Croatia. So yoga goes into very many different directions. The other thing is that if you're not into yoga, there are now other ways to kind of create mindfulness through artist programs, like an artist program by the Royal Mansour in Marrakesh is going after beading and weaving and pottery. Also, like, the thing is that 2 hours, for example, on pottery, off screen, gives you the same effect as yoga in terms of mindfulness and disconnect to reconnect. And if you're not into that, then also sound bathing is another kind of way to create mindfulness. So my message to you here is on this one is that 2023 is a year where you can also go into more unconventional wellness activities like forest bathing and puppy yoga and laugh therapy, etc., to really start to create a difference because the consumer is ready for this type of activities. Other topic, second topic in wellness is sleep. And sleep goes now into really becoming like a sleep tourism topic. I mean, hotels overall have been always about sleep, right? It was always about heads in beds and people come to us to sleep. But now actually people travel to go somewhere where they can really sleep. And what are the activities? Here I've just mentioned like 3 different ones, like a sleep suite by the Park Hyatt in New York, where they have cooperated with Bryant and artificial intelligence type of mattress that moves with your body movements while you sleep to perfectly adjust. There is Hastings, the mattress company that opened a sleep spa. There is sleep treatments in terms of sleep retreats, like Six Senses has a whole kind of sleep program happening. Rosewood also has the alchemy of sleep happening. So people start to focus on sleep, and then when you go into the bigger picture on sleep, then you actually go from sleep concierge to sleep programs to days of dedicating to go into finding the pattern again to sleep. Because what's the problem? Post-pandemic, there are surveys that people, like 40% of adults, don't find anymore the quality of sleep. And also the whole, let's say, digitalization always on, your mind is never off again. So the whole sleep part is really a huge topic for you to focus on. Then my third point in wellness is transformative kind of spa experiences. And here it's more to show to you that in the spa area, tech starts to become also a huge topic. Tech at the starting point of a spa experience of health screeners, health type of screening comes in. It's a non-invasive way to basically evaluate your status quo of your health to afterwards customize your whole wellness journey a lot more tailored to your status on health. There are other type of things happening, what you see here, like the cryotherapy of Six Senses, where you basically put your body into a deep freezer to recover and also reduce inflammation is one of the, let's say, latest types. That doesn't mean for you now you have to go into like big investments in spa and start, to create these types of machines. But it's more to say that the spa experience evolves from traditional ways, and how can you customize your spa experience to the status quo of your guest coming in. And last but not least, because the whole wellness topic and health topic is a holistic one, it goes also into the food and beverage area, where healthy and sustainable food is, 80% of people are saying they choose healthy, sustainable food over non-healthy, sustainable food. So there are new food concepts coming up, like, for example, the Wap in Italy, in Switzerland, which is the first clean eatery type of kitchen, really dedicating and catering to the Gen Z customer. Then the whole food part also goes into the drink side, where no alcohol, low alcohol type of offers coming in, and no alcohol also on beer and wine, but also on gin and tequila and going on. Last but not least, also on food, the sustainable part of zero waste is something that is something to consider. So my message to you here is, look at what kind of healthy offer do you have in your menus, and also what kind of, let's say, healthy offer do you have on the drink side, and what are you doing on the zero waste part. Second type of trend is going sustainable travel. And there are kind of, 3 type of things that I want to mention to you on that. One thing is about travel light. So that means going with a suitcase, not 25 kilos, but with smaller type of suitcases so that you have a smaller carbon footprint while you travel. 80% are also, saying that actually their travel experiences improves if they have the feeling that they travel sustainably. So what's happening in hotels is that they are starting to offer people bulky things like Westin offers sports equipment. W offers rent a runway. So I don't have to bring my clothes anymore to the hotel, but I actually have the opportunity at the hotel to have things rented for me. Regenerative travel is actually the future of traveling. So it's not anymore sustainable because we are all talking about how can we be carbon neutral, but now it's actually how can we be carbon positive. So how can we have a positive impact on the environment, on the community when we travel? And there are different type of, hotels that you, or different activities that you're seeing here, from restoring coral reefs, sea turtle sanctuary, reforestation, are just a few elements of how can you, towards the environment, do something good. But then it's also how do you do something good to the community in terms of, supporting schools, etc. And how can you also empower your own employees in terms of, equal pay, in terms of inclusivity, etc., to really, leave a positive type of impact. And last but not least, staycation is the new way of staycation. So your whole home market is a huge opportunity for you also in 2023. And in this case, also people are going towards transformed farms and transformed farms to actually stay there, disconnect again, to reconnect with land and nature and with the farming behavior. And there are some great examples also, like La Granja in Ibiza, that is part of the Slowness brand from Peter Sendlinger. That is, I think, a great example on this one. Third big trend is digital nomads and working from everywhere. And there are basically 2 main things happening on the digital nomad side. One thing is that digital nomads in general are, the majority are only, let's say, traveling 1 to 2 weeks versus being the whole year on the road. So when they are on the road and, for example, want to stay in your hotel, then what is happening is that there are really kind of fancy co-working spaces coming about. And if you look, a great example, if you're interested in that, what you have to do is the Hoxton. The Hoxton, for example, in London, has great places, very diverse places, including closed rooms, open rooms for working wellness. Then they have amenities from F&B to being able to put your bike in the basement. So if you're coming by bike, you have opportunities there. You have a shower. You can participate in yoga classes, etc. So it's not just saying, oh, my lobby, people can come to me and have here, a place to work. It is really a dedicated program, and they also have day passes, they have month passes, and they are communicating it also on their website as a dedicated program. The other thing, what's happening is, The other thing that's happening is also that people are really creating a movement of not just going somewhere to work from home, but actually to work somewhere far away, like Bali, like New Zealand, etc. And then there's long-term stayers, like 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, because they want to be part of a community. And I actually had here a small video, but because I'm running out of time, I'm jumping this. And finish off with my 3 more trends, but they are, let's say, easier to cover and faster to cover, which is cultural experiences, meaning your city trips are back in 2023. So, and I don't want to talk about which are the cities that are now in, like, Lisbon and Edinburgh and what have you, but I want to talk about how are people, experiencing these cultural trips going forward, and also group travel is back. So the groups from 2 to 5 people see really a shift and an increase, and the so-called solo travel that we've seen the last few years with the younger generations is actually decreasing. And the social, let's say, groups that I want to highlight are 2 things here for you. One thing is I want to highlight the increase of people traveling with dogs. And I want to highlight for you, what is your dog program that you currently have? Falkensteiner has, an arrival experience for the dog, giving like little gimmicks. Then they have the bed and the towel, etc. They offer like walking with the dog as a service, etc., etc. So what is your dog program? And also, like Kimpton does not charge for the dog. Kimpton also welcomes every size of dog as long as it fits through the door. So my message is more review your dog program. And the other thing, a big opportunity next year is because people are traveling as digital nomads. Companies, new thing, company retreats are coming back. So people bring back the employees into a cool place, like for example, in Ibiza, surf camp in Ibiza for 2 weeks, or hiking in Madeira for 3 weeks. And so people bring them back. Why? For motivation purposes, for creativity purposes, for collaboration, for loyalty, etc., etc. So company retreats next year, big deal. And then set jetting is a hot trend this year in terms of your entertainment behavior, things that you watch on Netflix or on HBO, etc., are influencing which places you go and want to see. So here I've just picked like Emily in Paris for Paris, and then there is the Lord of the Rings in New Zealand, and then there is also a series of White Lotus in Sicily as just examples. What's cool is 2 things on this. One thing is that 30%, the bookings are up by 30% where, these type of films were shot, and these type of locations basically are really then super desirable. So for destination marketing, if you're looking to put your place onto the mind of the people, work together with production companies, film companies to get your location into the know. And the other thing that offers to you there is the possibility of having tailor-made tours for these type of fans to see the locations where these things were shot. And then last but not least, the last one is go off the grid. Go off the grid basically puts into the center highly remote locations to disconnect and escape from the world. There are basically data that say 55% of the people today want to get away from the current world. And here are just some examples of, going and joining a Bedouin camp in the middle of Jordan, where you basically learn the basics again of how to make a fire, engage into Bedouin culture, learning a Bedouin dance, and what have you. But going back to basics, the younger generations are even willing to sacrifice on luxury things, including also not being connected with Wi-Fi. The older generations and more luxury, on more luxury side at the moment, you do have very much still luxurious elements like you see here at the Shipwreck Lodge in Namibia, where you can discover the desert, but in super high end of luxury. So those are kind of in a little bit more than 15 minutes. I see my zeros are blinking since a little while. But I saw very interested faces. That's why I kept going. And there is so much more in terms of like data, examples, etc., that I can share with you if you're interested in that. And these type of trends can very much help you also to really focus and develop marketing programs. And these trends also, as a last thing to say, is they're not only here today, they're here to stay. Because these are the preferences and desires of these type of generations, of Generation Z and millennials. Thank you.